even though that, when someone has a sole trader business, it doesn't mean that you can't deliver on big projects because other people that can be involved. You need your own self-confidence at the end of the day. You can't build your confidence through others. You need to, believe in yourself, saying, no, I can do this. And if you don't know, ask. Each one has such a really unique edge to it, a really distinct edge to it. It wasn't just make me a white space, or it was something they were really, really unique within themselves. And that's what I really wanted to create going forward. And that's why the values that I've built around my business encapsulates that to really take care of my clients and to make something really, really distinct and really, really unique.
Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey, the podcast where we share valuable insights, resources, and motivation to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Let's build a supportive community together. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you listen to podcasts and be part of this journey. Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you, whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website www.cmeaccountingllc.com or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey. We're in season 3. And we're just so glad that you continue to follow us and that you've been so supportive. Today's guest is Megan Spencer, the founder and principal interior architect of Meg Grace Design Studio, based on the central coast of New South Wales, Australia. With more than 15 years of design experience, Megan has worked across hospitality, healthcare, workplace, and community projects. She's passionate about creating spaces that balance identity, purpose, and function, blending interior architecture with custom artwork to design places that truly connect with people. Thank you so much for meeting with us today, Megan. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm well for a bright Tuesday morning.
Yes. And Tuesday morning for you, and for me, it's the evening. So that's what's so interesting. I love this, that we were across the globe from each other, but here we are having a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what's amazing about the internet, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You can connect anywhere.
For sure. And talking about that, how we met, I was trying to think of how we actually connected. I know that I saw a post from you back in April of this year saying that you've started on this new journey, and I reached out, but I'm not sure how we actually connected via LinkedIn, but I know I saw that post and I got so excited for you, even though I didn't know you personally.
I remember seeing your journey on social media. I can't remember if it was Instagram or LinkedIn, but I followed you for a bit with your entrepreneurship. So I think that's why I just connected with you. And then, and then I posted and just history now.
Yes. It's so awesome because I didn't even know where this would go until now know that you all the way in Australia saw what I was doing and we were able to connect that way. This is quite amazing for me.
Yeah. It's great.
Yes. Let's start with a segment we call Rapid Fire. So let's get 2 words from you. One word that describes you now, and another word that you would have used to describe yourself as a child.
Wow. Okay. So as a child, adventurous would definitely come to mind. I don't know if it's more of adventurous or accident prone. That's what I remember as my childhood. And now, multitasker. Absolutely. With two babies, a new puppy, business, and a husband, and all of the things. Yeah,
I definitely know
multitasker.
what you mean. And we're actually recording in the summer, and I have my daughter at home. So I was telling you that she's actually in the other room. So I'm just hoping that it works out. But in case anybody hears anything on our end, we're just multitasking over here.
Absolutely.
Yes. And we mentioned it in the intro, but just tell us a little about your business. You can start with the name. Just tell us again and what you do in business.
Yes. So my business is Meg plus Grace Design Studio, and we are an interior architecture studio that really focuses on visual art as well as all of the things that interior design or interior architecture capabilities are. And we like to really look after our clients. We really value quality and functionality, integration, and just making sure that they're comfortable from concept through to post completion when we're wrapping things up and adding those extra layers and extra details.
Right. Oh, I love that. And can you tell us how long you've been in business?
Yes, 6 months. So
Congratulations.
still a baby. Yeah, 6 months. But from looking back from where I was a year ago to now, I wouldn't have guessed that I would be here, which is a great thing. But yeah, we're getting traction and, we've got a few projects under our belt. Kind of are getting more. It's very much from a referral basis, a referral or ex-client basis. Yeah, that we're getting these amazing jobs through.
That's great. And we mentioned in the intro that you've been doing this for 15 plus years. So can you just tell us a little bit more about what your journey looked like before starting the business?
Yes, so it started in Canberra, ACT, which where I did university, and from there I was at a firm called Spacelift for 2 years. They don't actually exist anymore, but they were around for a while, and we did a lot of government. Being in Canberra, that's the main clientele. Did a lot of government procurement, and we did a major milestone we did was the first NDIS rollout here, which is a huge feat. It's a big government scheme. And from there, I went to Sydney, where I was at a huge architectural firm, medium to large architectural firm in Sydney for 10 years. And they branched out in all of the different sectors, whether that's industrial, workplace, hospitality, healthcare. So I was very fortunate to be exposed to a lot of different types of design, which is great. And then I had babies, and then I transferred to a beautiful little studio near Newcastle called Studio M Collective, and they specialized in aged care, which was very confronting, but I learned so much, especially about international procurement in terms of FF&E procurement. Yeah, it was really, really rewarding. And then I didn't expect to launch a business. I actually wanted to stop to finish my project management qualifications, but opportunities came across my desk, and now I'm here, 6 months in.
Yes, that's great. And you said yes to those opportunities. So that's
I did,
awesome.
yeah.
All right. So you've been in business for 6 months now. I'm just so curious to know, what do you think has been the best moment or the highest high for you so far?
Yes. So if you asked me 5 years ago what I thought about networking, I would have said I wanted to go home. However, networking is a huge part of entrepreneurship, and I've really found amazing connections. They've been business connections, but then have blossomed into friendships. And that's what I've found very rewarding in this process is meeting new people and finding out what other people do. Sometimes you get stuck in your bubble of the sameness of every day. And then when you step out of that, there's so much out in the world, so many different positions that people do. That's what I really love, just connecting with others.
Yes, and I'm really glad you said that. Networking is so, so important. And it's also one of the best moments for me as well, because I get to meet such amazing people like yourself today on this podcast.
Yes.
So I totally agree. And if you were to look back, I know it's very new for you, but is there a moment so far you would say that has not been the best or probably has been one of the most challenging?
Yes, there's been two that's been challenging. So when you've had so much experience, when you go out on your own, that experience becomes not irrelevant, but you can't showcase that experience because it's through employment, which I completely understand. So that's been a challenge of being able of jumping through hoops in terms of intellectual property and other legal terms. That's been a challenge, but it's just something that you learn from and move on. Another challenge was I had an amazing opportunity to submit a proposal for a brand new hotel 6 months into the business, and I have an invitation to do that, which is amazing, through a previous connection that I used to work with him for quite a long time. And throughout that process, it became challenging because of the communication circles within that. And or the lack of communication circles within that. I haven't even heard back from them. And being able to come from a place where you're really excited about this amazing opportunity and then it just falls flat and you're not entirely sure why. So I've learned that obviously not every opportunity that comes along becomes a bigger opportunity down the track. But I've also learned that creating my values of what my business should be or what I want it to be or what I want it to represent, I've really learned to hone in on what I truly want my clientele to be and what clients I really want to service. So yeah, that was a big learning curve.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. And it's so important to learn about things like that from people who've gone before us, so that when it happens, because most likely it will happen one way or another, you'd probably experience something of that kind. So it's good to be able to hear that, so that when that happens, we know, it's something that happens, and this is how what the person learned from it. So it kind of just helps you to move on, or move past it, or to handle it a lot better, I would think. So thanks so much for sharing that with us. We really do appreciate that. And before we finish this segment, can you tell us one book or movie that you'd recommend?
The main books that I read now are only about 10 pages long. I can go in the bath. Kids' books. I used to read a lot for, my own pleasure, not so much now. I do have a book, however, it does have a profanity in the title. So I don't know if I can say that.
I've had one of those, so I totally get that.
I believe it's called Learning How to Not Give a.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about that.
When you've read a good book, when years go on and you can still remember it.
Yes.
Um, I don't remember the detail of the content, to be honest, because it's been a while since I've read it. However, I do remember coming away from finishing that book having a new perspective.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. I always like looking up new books, so I always love when our guests share with us. We're going to move on to the begin segment. And when it comes to you starting the business, I know earlier you mentioned that you didn't quite plan on starting a business, but I'm just curious whether you remember the time when you figured, okay, you know what, I am going to start a business, and what led to that decision.
Yes, I had a few opportunities come across my desk, and one of them was to establish a new Airbnb, and another was it was a residential house, and they had a big roof space that wasn't being utilized, and they had the head clearance, and they wanted to make something of that area, and their brief was Polar Express Punk, which is such a bizarre and unique brief. And another opportunity came across was family home, but they wanted to add personality and they wanted to explore sculptures and visual arts and that kind of thing. And the reason I said all of those three opportunities is because each one has such a really unique edge to it, a really distinct edge to it. It wasn't just make me a white space, or it was something they were really, really unique within themselves. And that's what I really wanted to create going forward. And that's why the values that I've built around my business encapsulates that, to really take care of my clients and to make something really, really distinct and really, really unique for them. That's what excites me.
Hmm. So it sounds like when you got those opportunities, I could see how you could see now you have the freedom to work on what you want to work on. So by so you're actually able to choose those projects, would you say, call them projects, that really meet that need for you and that really helps you to showcase the values that you want to bring across and so forth. That's what I got from what you said. But correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you are not wrong. And that's what, I guess that's what motivates me to keep going with Meg Plus Grace, is to be able to choose the scope that I can bring to a project. For example, I'm doing a physio at the moment, physio fit out, and everything's integrated because that space has to function quite differently. The type of configurations that they require, each configuration functions quite differently. For example, it's a seminar space, and then it's a physio space, and then it's a reformer Pilates studio space. They all have to have different AV and different lighting and that kind of thing. And to being able to really integrate, like innovatively integrate, to support those different functions. But then on the other side is having an opportunity to create an art piece for them that really reflects their brand identity, that really reflects their business, and to creating something that's really, really unique to them. When you think of a Pilates studio or a physio studio, you think they're all calming, they're all more of a wellness space, and they all have that different feel. But how are we going to make your space truly you? That's what I really, really love, to be able to create that scope of saying, well, let's create a sculpture, let's create a big canvas. Yeah, and that's what excites me. I also have a really great opportunity now, is a new Airbnb in Surrey Hills, and they're commissioning us to do a 5 meter canvas, and to think about the logistics of putting a 5 meter canvas in a space, like it can't fit through a door. So yeah, the logistics of painting it off site, like in our art studio, and then trying to bring on site and and make it on site to fit. Yeah, those challenges are, I really
Wow.
like those challenges.
Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you. Whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website www.cmeaccountingllc.com or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. Wow. And the excitement comes through when you talk about what you're doing. So, wow. And I'm sure just seeing the final product just makes you so happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I'm just wondering, so is there something in your upbringing that has led you to where you are today? Have you always loved this kind of work?
It's interesting you say that. So my parents and my brother are all in the public service, because we were brought up in Queanbeyan, which is the south side of Canberra. So me going into design was a little bit different. However, my mum, who had a huge career, she's retired for a while now, but she was the head of facilities and security at Prime Minister and cabinets. And so she's always been in facilities, always been in property, whether that was in Prime Minister cabinet or industry, moving around the different departments. So I did have an insight into property, and she would work with interior designers as well. So I did get insight into her into her world when growing up. So I guess that was a big connection.
Ah, great. And what does she think of what you're doing now that you're actually doing interior designing now?
Yeah, she finds it fascinating looking at it from the other side, I guess, because she's always been the client. So yeah, I mean, she likes design. She's been in property for ages, so and it's nice collaborating with her sometimes too, or getting her opinion. Even sometimes I might not take it, but getting her opinions on things.
Oh, nice. So once you decided to start the business, what were the steps that you took to actually get started? And I wanted to just keep in mind someone who's probably looking to start something similar to what you're starting. They may not be in Australia, so a few things may be different, but we may be able to get a few tips from your experience.
Yes, so I guess every journey is different. So with my journey, we planned for this year to for me to complete my project management qualification. So financially, we had that in mind. And with beginning a business, you don't get that lovely paycheck every week. It's a lot of investment. So my first step was to obviously register for the business and then insurance, which is really important. And dependent on what services you want your business to provide, you have to meet certain insurance covers. For example, if you want to do government procurement, you have to meet a certain threshold. So, and you can figure that out on as you go. You don't have to figure it out straight away. So insurance was really important. And then I thought, oh my God, marketing. And I'm not in marketing at all. So getting a graphic designer to figure what your brand presence is and working that out for yourself. I think the hardest thing for me was to make decisions for my own business. I'm so used to getting other people's brief and deciphering it and translating it into more simple terms so everyone's on the same page and going from there. But to make my own brief, I found that the most challenging bit out of creating a business, definitely.
Yeah, I totally relate. I think in one of my earlier episodes, I said even just choosing the name was so difficult for me. So that actually brings me to how you chose your name. What's the story behind choosing your name? The name for your business, sorry.
Yes. So before I chose my name, I knew the direction that I wanted my business to go into to really encapsulate the scope of visual arts, whatever that might look like, which is which is more of a supporting role to interior design or interior architecture. So the foundation is interior architecture, and the reason I call it interior architecture is because my degree is interior architecture. So definitely, using that, and I feel like it also represents the scope of what interior designers, interior architects do. So Meg is my name, obviously, and then plus Grace is representative of that supporting visual art factor of being able to broaden the scope beyond interior architecture. That's how I got the name. Oh, Grace is my middle name.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. It's funny because when people ask me about the name, they say, "Oh, so Grace is such a nice name. Like, is it representative of, grace as the meaning of grace?" And I was like, no, it's my middle name.
All right. It's, oh my gosh. I think it's one of those important things, right? When we starting out, like, what do I call myself as a business? So
Yeah.
it's always good to know, the work that goes on.
And I wanted to make sure that it was different. There's so many firms out there that have very, very similar names, whether it's something and co or it's all with the same wording. So I wanted it quite distinct.
Yes, that's definitely a good way to stand out for sure. So we're going to move on to the build a segment. And I know starting the business was a huge decision. Outside of that, I'm wondering if there is something else that happened for you that you'd consider one of the biggest leaps that you've taken so far.
Yeah. The biggest leap that I've taken in business so far is more of the investment side to build the business, I think. Yeah, I guess if anyone's starting a business, I'll definitely plan it first. Because this is a spontaneous decision, I don't think I did the planning very well. I'm slowly making it up as I go, but in terms of, what type of softwares do you need to have an annual subscription in? And that equates to quite a lot depending on what people do for their job. But for example, myself, the amount of subscriptions that I have, yeah, definitely audit where all those transactions are going. Yeah, that was the biggest leap. It's just the investment, definitely, and being able to be confident in yourself that you can say, yes, I can do this. Imposter syndrome is real. It took me quite a long time to just get over it and not care. So I guess that's another big leap, is imposter syndrome. Definitely.
Yeah, working your way through that for sure. Would you like to share any techniques or anything that helped you get to that point?
To get over the imposter syndrome,
Yes, yes.
networking. Networking got me over
Networking.
it. Yes, definitely. Networking and people saying, wow, you're doing something really different. I never would have seen your business kind of venture in that direction, or I haven't heard of studio doing what you're doing, creating the visual art aspect. So networking definitely builds up your confidence, and having the community around you to back you up, for sure. But also reconnecting with past clients or even past colleagues, not knowing that they knew that I've gone out on my own, and then bringing it up saying, oh, it's so great. I could see you creating your own business. So that, yeah, having people saying those amazing words really helps. But I guess also you need your own self-confidence at the end of the day. You can't build your confidence through others. You need to, yeah, believe in yourself, saying, no, I can do this. I've done this for 15 years. Obviously it's different having your own business, not having a company to back you up, but you've done the job. You know what the job is. It's just figuring out the details on the back end. And if you don't know, ask. And if you don't know, outsource. My social media is non-existent because I don't know how to do it. So I'm outsourcing it next month with the VA. So just focusing on what you're good at. And then if you don't know, ask, learn, reach out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such good advice. And it sounds like you are building your team as you go. So it sounds like you do outsource some things. I'm guessing you probably have a team that you work with on projects, and you have a VA coming on board. So that's quite a lot of big decisions, and I'm sure you will see the benefits.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see in a month or two. But with the team, it's just myself at the moment, and my VA is coming on soon with Meg Grace. But with the networking, you meet so many entrepreneurs. I mentioned before that I had an opportunity to submit a proposal for a brand new hotel in Wollongong, which is amazing. But I had to build a team for that. With the time that they had, I needed more than myself. So with other entrepreneurs and the people that I've met in my community or met throughout my years of experience, I built a team to be able to deliver that project. So even though that, when someone has a sole trader business, it doesn't mean that you can't deliver on big projects, because other people that can be involved.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because recently I met I am an accountant, and I met another accountant within my community. We met and we had such a great time just chatting with each other. And out of that, we were actually planning to do what we call a bookkeeping camp or bookkeeping clinic, where we will be basically providing our services to persons in the community. So we are thinking of just having a meet and greet, and then we would be just teaching about accounting. So all of that is probably something I would probably still do on my own, but it would be a little bit more intimidating. But by by having someone who I can work with. We're two different businesses, but we've decided that we can collaborate on this project and it will create a very big impact in the community. I feel like that is very powerful. So I'm really glad that you mentioned how you can work with other small businesses to deliver on a big project. And I think that is something we need to think about a little bit more. So we can actually share. We don't have to always be competing, right? We can come together and make something big, something impactful.
Absolutely. I think your use of the word powerful is, yeah, is spot on. People can go to big firms if they want and get that type of service. I know every firm's different, but I feel like with entrepreneurship, we do what we do because we love what we do. We chose to build a business on whatever job we're doing. So the passion is there. No one builds a business, a sole trader business because they weren't passionate about it. Oh, well, it's probably rare. So the service that you'd get from small businesses, I feel like it's just a different type. It's more nurturing, even though I really hate that word nurture, but but it is.
Yes, I know what you mean. Because I worked in big companies before and I liked it, but absolutely love doing what I do and doing it with the people that I choose to do it with. You get to choose your clients, your projects. So really there is that love, that passion. And yes, when you work with a small business owner, that comes through very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I mentioned I'm an accountant, and before we move on to the Blossom segment, I just wanted to know a little bit about how you deal with that aspect of things. You're starting off, we're all going to business to do what we love, and not everybody wants to deal with the accounting side of things. So I always like to know as an accountant myself, like how do you manage that, and when do you decide to maybe actually work with an accountant one on one? Just what is that process for you thinking about accounting?
Yes, another another thing I had to learn. So I have an accountant, and he was referred to me by a good friend of mine who has worked with him for 20 plus years. So she and her husband have a business has been running. She's an amazing lighting designer. But anyway, she referred me to her accountant, and yeah, he's been great. I really like him because you can just send him a random email of a question, or he'll pick up the phone and he won't charge you. A lot of specialty services like that charge on the hour. Whether you're dealing with a lawyer or that kind of thing. So yeah, no, he's really great. And to support that, I have invested in Zero, which has helped dramatically. I thought initially, oh, I can just do it in Excel. It's just me. I don't have a lot of things on, but with the invoicing and money going in, money going out, trying to consolidate everything, the credit cards as well. Yeah, Zero has really helped. And I've also outsourced some of our financials into Zero to my husband.
Nice. It's great to have that team that supports. So you have your husband who's helping out, you have your accountant that you work with, and that person came to you through a referral, which is so important because I'm learning that it's word of mouth. When you do good work, people keep talking about it, and you get new clients that way. So that's great. And the support of software. You mentioned where you use Zero. There are also software like QuickBooks. So you basically use that to just streamline everything, make it easier. Yes, you can do it in Excel, but the margin of error is greater there and it's just a lot more labor intensive. So it's good that you've relied on all of that to make it work out for you. So that's great. Let's move on to the Blossom segment. And really there, I have one question for you. What does success mean to you?
Ooh, that is a great question. So, success means to me, I don't want to be a big fancy firm. Like I don't want to scale hugely. What success means to me is to be able to choose my clients. Definitely, that's Yeah, definitely. And also to be able to support my family, to have enough revenue coming in to be able to pay myself and to contribute to my family. You know, my husband works really hard with what he does to be able to contribute. That's definitely what a big success factor would be.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. And as we move to the closeout segments, I just wanted to know if there are practical tips that you'd like to share with those who are listening to us right now.
Yes, boundaries, creating boundaries, whether that's with family, friends, business relationships, creating those boundaries to make yourself feel safe and secure and kind of just making a baseline scope. That's what I think of boundaries are, making that baseline one. And then the second one would be time, which kind of goes hand in hand with boundaries. But your time is so valuable. And I feel like there's not enough hours in the day to do all of the things. So be really smart about your time is really important. You know, we want to work to live, not live to work. So time is, yeah, just defining what time means to you.
So those are very good. Boundaries, I think I took a long time to learn that. So if you can learn that early on, that's great. And time, it's so valuable for sure. Because like you mentioned, there's only so much of that we have. So using it the way that we want makes a big difference. And can you just tell us how our listeners can reach you?
Yes. So I'm very I do a lot of business development on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is my main source of contact. My website is in construction and is about to be launched, which is so exciting. It's taken me a
Yes,
while.
that is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, LinkedIn, Megan Spencer on LinkedIn, definitely. Or Meg plus Grace on LinkedIn.
Okay, great. And we will be sure to include the your website in the show notes as soon as that's available. That is so exciting. Congratulations on that. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So that takes us to the end of the episode. I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. And we look forward to seeing more of what you're doing, and we just wish you all the best as you continue to grow your business.
Thank you so much. So yeah, so lovely to connect with you. I'm so grateful to be on your podcast, and I love where you're going. You're going with your entrepreneurship. It's exciting.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
A quick note before we wrap up: the insights and experiences shared by our guests are their own. We love creating space for real conversations about business and growth, and everyone's journey is unique. Therefore, this podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. It is not meant to replace legal, financial, or other professional advice. So, we encourage you to take what's useful, do your own due diligence, and build what works best for you.
Thanks for listening to Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey. We hope today's conversation gave you the insights and inspiration you need to move forward on your own path. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. Do you have feedback? We'd love to hear from you at podcast@cmeaccountingllc.com. Join us again next week for a new episode.